You know, we knew it was going to be tough, but you know, we also know that hops had been working out really well.
He could have easily folded it up, but he held strong in there, got us a third. So, you know, last 4 races were in the money each time, and we're never going to complain about that. After the Swoon Sun, we entered in another race, 80K. So we were excited about it because in the Swoon Sun, we got beat by 2 really good horses. We had 1 million people down here for that race. I know my mom came in from Florida. We had people from work, we had relatives, friends. I think we counted, we had like over 60 people that came.
For Red Rabbit Racing, every time we do run a horse here at Arlington, we have so many people, and then we all come through the tunnel. It's like a big parade, and we're all standing on the apron, you know, really cheering Hops on. We have a good time. We have a great time. We're feeling good about it. Our horse is training well. Everything is a go. There's no reason why we can't, you know, win a race at this level.
This race, for the first time, we didn't really have, you know, kind of a good excuse. We just kind of ran evenly. He didn't have a burst of any kind of speed. But we still had a great time. We were cheering down the stretch for him and going wild, and I think we gave him a standing ovation when he came back as well, too, for third. Chris has always talked about trying to position the horse to win.
So we decided that we would look for something maybe a little bit easier so we could see if we could get out of that little rut of thirds.
And the thought process that went into it was, you know, maybe he's just losing, you know, a little bit of his ability, potentially. We thought if we dropped him down to 30, it was still going to be a pretty brave person who would do, 1, pay 30 for a horse that was going to be 7, and 2, take a chance on somebody that's dropping from 80 to 30. You know, that would give anybody pause to say what's going on.
Back in September of 2012, we claimed him for $40K. It was just a little bit less than the money we claimed him for, you know, 11 months ago. So yeah, it was very, very real possibility that he might get claimed.
I thought it was actually not such a bad idea because I know we were looking for that first place. So I thought, hey, if we're dropping him, people are gonna be like, there's got to be something wrong if they're dropping him that much. I was all for it. I was like, let's do it. Let's get that winner's circle picture, you know, and I bet we'll be good. I can't imagine that someone would take him from us.
I think we were concerned that somebody might take him, but clearly we can't just continue at the higher level if he's not winning. You know, everybody had their fingers crossed.
For me, with Workin for Hops being the first horse, it was really special for me. I was certainly dying to have like my first winner's circle photo. I unfortunately was not in town. A couple of my buddies and I had a trip booked for Vegas. And so I made sure that our plans revolved around seeing the Hopster run that day.
Unfortunately, the night before we had, you know, a pretty good rain, so we had some soggy turf, not even sure they were going to run on the turf, but they did.
I get so nervous during the races, I really do. You know, everyone's screaming and I'm standing there like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen? You know, I just get really, really nervous. And I just really want to make sure that he comes out of the race okay.
So we ran, and you know, we were the best bet of the day. We were very confident, but he ended up running last.
Dancing Rock up to Green Secret. Dancing Rock and Emmanuel Escobar. Dancing Rock driven out from Green Secret.
It's always fun, especially when you're in Vegas, seeing that, wait, that's my horse up there on the TV, and so I was definitely, you know, hoping for a lot more than that. But I'm also kind of glad that, like, I didn't miss a winner's circle photo at the same time.
We got last place, and when you go off as the best bet of the day, and everybody likes you, and you know, then you come in last, and you know, everybody's scratching their head like, what happened?
Chris told us that he didn't like the soft turf, but I looked at the replay, boy, probably 10 times. And at the head of the stretch, Eddie makes the turn, hits him twice real quick, but I think he kind of pulled him into a horse. And so he did that, and then the Hops was starting to rally again, and then the horse that he actually had pulled him into started drifting out to him, And he did it again, and he just lost all this momentum. And I'm sure he didn't grip the track and all that, but my view is that's where we lost it, because he just didn't have anything that he could give, because he gave that away at a time where we couldn't do that. You know, we have this saying that win, lose, or last, we're going to have fun, but that tried us. But we still had fun. We still had fun, but we don't like that happening too often. We had a long talk with Chris. We were really thinking perhaps the horse has started to enter maybe a little more period of decline than we thought. Maybe just not as fast. You're trying to look strategically at it. Okay, you ran at 30 off a 50K drop, and then you're going to run a 20. It'd still be a pretty brave person. So that's kind of what went into, again, positioning him for we thought he had the best chance to win. So that was really what we thought about when we went in and put him in for 20.
We ran him 1 mile on the turf. No rain that week, so the turf, no excuses there. We really thought that, he would be safe. Who's going to claim a horse that hasn't won all summer?
It's like, oh, it's definitely dropping. That's scary. But at the same time, I'm thinking, hey, he was the favorite of the day in this last race. He came in last. That doesn't look so good, at least to me. I wouldn't necessarily take that risk.
I don't know as much as Chris or my father does, and so I really go off what they feel is best. Of course, they recommended for this 20,000. They think this is a good race for him. There was a risk of being claimed, but that goes with every claiming race that we have. You're always running that risk that you'll lose them. And to be honest, I don't know if it's just because I'm young. This is my first horse. The thought honestly didn't cross my mind going into it that I'd lose him at this race.
For a mile race, the fractions that they set were unbelievable. I think it was 22 and change, I think it was 46 and change. I think the final time was like 2/3 off the track record or something at that distance, which is to me absurd for 20K claimers.
It wasn't a bad race, and I think he gripped the turf a whole lot better than he did the race before.
We only lost by, I think, a length and a half.
So, he was right there. Immediately after the race, again, we're scratching our heads because we were hoping this would be, our time. And, not only were we not getting our thirds, now we were getting even worse.
We were really, not excited about fourth, but at the end of the day, that, he ran well. And very quietly, I heard my cell phone ring, so I know it's Trainer Block. The reality is, for someone to call you that quick, I knew what it was. I knew somebody had taken him. So I answered the phone, and I said, "We lost him," as a question, and Chris said, "Yeah, we did."
I will always remember just the picture of my dad on the phone. I just looked back to my dad, and he's already on the phone with Chris. That's when the wheels began turning for me. I was like, uh-oh.
We knew there was the possibility of the claim, and that was the last thing we wanted. We all love Hops, and we love to have him back there, and we love to bring him carrots, and we want him around. We don't want him going anywhere.
Hey, guys, we lost him.
Immediately, he told us that he had been claimed, and that's never a good feeling.
I was kind of hoping that Chris got it wrong, that maybe somebody else was claimed. To me, it's official when Dooley says it over the intercom. So I kind of separated myself a little from everybody else and was listening.
Claim from the 6th race today, Workin for Hops. For $20,000, Workin for Hops was claimed to new owner Terry Bruner. New trainer Kerry Zavash claimed Workin for Hops.
Sure enough, I could just hear it that Workin for Hops was claimed, and literally my heart just sank. Just to think that, wow, just like that, he's gone.
They make the announcement, one claim in the entire race, and of course it's him. You're like, all these horses, he comes in fourth, can't you claim the winner, type of a thing. It's like, you're taking our horse from us, because you think of it as almost kind of your pet, type of a thing, and he's yours and you own him, and then all of a sudden for someone to just, snap their lead rope on him and take him off into their barn or whatever, it doesn't seem right. I know that is the name of the game, and that's how horse racing works, and if you're gonna put your horse in a claiming race, that's the risk you're taking. But it's just it doesn't seem right, but that's the reality of what could happen.
The process it's really interesting, because that's how we've got almost all of our horses, or through claiming races. You take possession of them at the finish line, you walk them to your barn, and the former owners wave goodbye to him as he goes.
We love our horses and we love running them. This is part of it. I mean, when you run at these claiming levels, we just didn't think that somebody would take him, but you know, somebody did.
I turned around and we wheeled to just call out Hop's name. You know, I said, Hops, Hopster, but he was already gone.
And I understand, you kind of form that bond with the horse and everything, but at the same time, it's a business. And you run the risk of losing them like we did. We knew going into it we had to be ready for it. And I think me, with this being my first time, I don't know if I was prepared for that. And so I think it was exceptionally tough for me. It was rough. I mean, I'd see him almost every day.
You form a bond with these horses, and it's sad when you're in kind of a routine of visiting them and doing all that type of stuff when that ends. We've been there before and we'll be there again, but it's still, kind of bums you out a bit, to tell you the truth. We had 8 pounds of carrots. I know 3 of us bought carrots, because we were gonna go back and, and do what we usually do there.
It's sad, it's hard. And you got 4 pounds of chopped carrots on ice in the car, and I had to take them back home. So, that was just kind of sad.
Once he gets claimed in that race, he's going to that next stable. And so I just still went to the stable because I had those carrots, so I felt like, I could give them to no apologize and stuff. And I'll always remember just seeing that open stable right there at the end in Chris Block's barn, and just how just surreal that was, that there's just not a horse in there anymore.
We're a family partnership, we don't have, deep pockets. We want to do right by the horse. We want to pick that horse that's a good match, a good fit for us. My brother is the one that looks for all the horses. He's the one who scours the forms, and he and Chris and a couple other trainers that we know are always looking for, that needle in the haystack, right, that you want to get. So, we'll see. We'll see what comes up. We'll be back, no problem. We'll be back.
The good news is we know we'll get another horse. The bad news is we're really addicted to this. So we'll look and we'll see.
It can take so long to find the right horse, and it took us so long to find Hops. That family bond that we all have through this racehorse, it's almost like, oh, now that's kind of going to be gone for a while until we can find another horse. So, I mean, yes, looking forward to a new horse, but it would have been great if we still had Hops, because he's a great horse.
About 20 minutes before Sugar Kate's race, a security guard comes and tells us that there's a major storm brewing and that everybody outside needs to take shelter and go inside.